Hi everyone, I thought I'd do a very quick video on place value. I think there was some confusion with the activities that were set on Seesaw, so I thought a wee quick video might just help answer some of those questions about place value. So let's have a wee look. We are used to thinking about hundreds, tens and units when we're thinking about our columns for chimney sums, if we're partitioning. That's place value, okay? So the place where a number is tells us its value. So if we have a look at this number 432, because of where they are, it tells us its value. So the 4 is in the hundreds column, so it tells us it's worth 400. The 3 is in the tens column, so it tells us it's actually a 30. And the 2 is in the units column, so it says it's a 2. That is what place value is. Okay, let's just quickly have another wee example here. 968, so the 9 is in the hundreds column, so it is worth 900. The 6 is in the tens column, so it is worth 60. And the 8 is in the units column, so it is just worth 8. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. We've done that a lot, we've partitioned a lot of that, we use it when we're doing add-in, subtraction, chimney sum, so hopefully that was just a quick revision of place value. If we take it to the next level, we can add in a next column. So we've got our hundreds, tens and units there, but beside the hundreds I've added in another column which we call the thousands column. So if we had a number like this, we would call this number 4,362. So because the 4 is in the thousands column, it is worth 4,000. We know how to partition the hundreds, tens and units. So the 3 is in the hundreds column, it's worth 300. The 6 is in the tens column, it's worth 60, and the 2 is in the units column, so it's just worth 2. Let's have a look at another wee example. So this number here, we would call it 9,814. Because the 9 is in the thousands column, it is worth 9,000. That's its place value. The 8 is in the hundreds column, it's worth 800. The 1 is in the tens column, so it's worth 10. And the 4 is in the units, so it's worth 4. So let's have a wee look at these three examples. So the first number there, I've got 4,632, and I've underlined the number 3. So what is 3's place value? You know, it's not a 3, what is its place value? So what we can do is we can put our little headings at the top of the number, if that helps us to think about where's the units, where's the tens, where's the hundreds, where's the thousands. So it's not a problem, so I've put that in red at the top. That might help me just see that the 3 is in the tens column, so therefore it is worth 30. Let's have a look at the next one. We've got 8,190. The 1 is underlined. What column is it in? It's in the hundreds column, so that means it is worth 100. Last one at the bottom there, 7,326. The 7 is underlined. It's in the thousands column, so it is worth 7,000. So hopefully that's just taken that to that next level, or hopefully that's been a bit of revision. Let's take it one step further and look at what comes next. So here I've got the thousands, hundreds, tens and units, but I've added in another one which is called the 10,000s. Okay, so if we have a look at this number here, we would say that number by sort of clumping the first two numbers together and saying 86,392. If we were to partition it and sort of think about what the place values were, because the 8 is in the 10,000s column, it is worth 80,000. So we would write it like that. The thousands, 6, so it's worth 6,000. In the hundreds we have 3, so 300. Tens we have 9, so 90. And units we have 2, so it's just 2. Okay. I know I'm going really, really fast. So please pause the video, do your own examples if you need to have a little bit extra practice. Let's have a wee look at an example together. So here is a number. We say this number, we clump the first two numbers together, so we say 73,930. So if I underline the 7 in this number, I could put my little headings up at the top, so I've got 10,000s, thousands, hundreds, tens and units. The 7's underlined, so I have to think what column, what place value does that have? It's in the 10,000s column. that means that the 7 is actually worth 70,000. Okay, let's add in another level because why not? So here we've got 10,000s, thousands, hundreds, tens and units, but I've added in another column called the 100,000s. So this is another column, we're getting really, really big numbers now. Let's have a look at what that means and how we say these big numbers, because that's obviously quite a challenge sometimes as well. So let's have a look at our first example here. Okay, how do we say this number first of all? Clump the numbers together, it makes it a little bit easier. So we say the first three numbers together, 693,820. So what does that mean for place value? I've done it in reverse order this time. There is nothing in the unit, so it's 0. Tens, there's a 2, so it's 20. Hundreds, there's an 8, so it's 800. Thousands, it's a 3, so it's 3,000. 10,000s, it's a 9, so it's 90,000. And in the 100,000 column, our new column, we've got a 6, so it's 600,000. That is what that 6 place value is. So let's have a look at this example. How do we say it first of all? Clump the first three numbers together. So we've got 215,961. I've underlined the 2. So if we put our little headings up at the top to help us, and it is quite hard to write it quite small, so if you're doing it on a whiteboard or in your jotter, you might want to write it really big so you can see it. So the 2 is in the 100,000 column, so it is worth 200,000. Here are some examples. You can pause the video if you want to give it a go yourself. I've put in some numbers there for you to have a look at, and I've underlined some of the numbers, so you can try and pause the video if you want and work out what do these numbers say, how do we work out what the underlined numbers place value is. So let's have a wee look together. So I've written in my wee headings, the place value headings at the top. Again, really hard to write, so if you're doing it at home you might want to write it really big, if that helps you. So the 3 there is in the 10,000 column, so it is worth 30,000. The second one, the 4, is in the 100,000 column, so it is worth 400,000. And the last one, the 8, is in the 100,000 column again, so its place value is 800,000. So this has been really, really fast, guys. I do appreciate how fast it is. In the classroom we obviously have that banner that's at the top of our maths wall, so I know that that does come in useful. We don't have that at home, so what I have done is I've uploaded this picture into Teams, so you can always access it in Teams. It is the columns, so we've got our units, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s and 100,000s, but I've also added in that millions column. That would be the next column after 100,000s, for those of you who want to challenge yourself with that. So that's useful just to have if you're doing the examples on Seesaw, or if you're doing your own examples, it's really useful to have these headings. If you want a wee challenge just now, I have put up 6 questions here plus a wee challenge down the bottom. So the tasks, try reading these numbers first of all, just saying them out loud, because that can sometimes be a challenge in itself. And then the second task for these questions, I've said say what place value the red number is. So in each question I've underlined a number in red, so you just have to say, is it in the hundreds column, tens column, and maybe what it's worth as well. So if it's in the hundreds column, maybe it's 600 for example. The challenge at the bottom just takes it to that next level, including the millions, so take your time with that one if you are going on to that one. Hopefully this video has helped. I do know it has been quite a fast video, so please feel free to pause it or get in contact with me if you need any extra help with this. And enjoy the challenges. I will speak to you all later. Goodbye.